Members of the committee, I do appreciate the opportunity to appear before you this morning. Secretary Hagel has described in detail the elements of our strategy against ISIL. The role the United States military is taking is, in my judgment, appropriate. This is an Iraq-first strategy, but not an Iraq-only one. Job one is empowering the Iraqi ground forces to go on the offensive, which they're already beginning to demonstrate. This requires a partnership with a credible Iraqi government, which is also showing positive signs of becoming inclusive of all of its population. Within this partnership, our advisors are intended to help the Iraqis develop a mindset for the offensive and to take actions consistent with offensive. Our military advisors will help the Iraqis conduct campaign planning, arrange for enabler and logistics support, and coordinate our coalition activities. If we reach the point where I believe our advisors should accompany Iraq troops on attacks against specific ISIL targets, I'll recommend that to the President. As long as ISIL enjoys a safe haven in Syria, it will remain a formidable force and a threat. So, while this work in Iraq is taking place, we will simultaneously pressure ISIL in Syria. With coalition partners and contributions, we will begin building a force of vetted, trained, moderate Syrians to take on ISIL in Syria. We will work to ensure that they have a Syrian chain of command and report to a moderate political authority. This force will work initially at the local and community level and help pull together Syrians who have most felt the harsh hand of ISIL. In conjunction with that long-term effort, we will be prepared to strike ISIL targets in Syria that degrade ISIL's capabilities. This won't look like a shock and awe campaign because that's simply not how ISIL is organized, but it will be a persistent and sustainable campaign. I want to emphasize that our military actions must be part of a whole-of-government effort that works to disrupt ISIL financing, interdict the movement of foreign fighters across borders, and undermine the ISIL message. Given a coalition of capable, willing regional and international partners, I believe we can destroy ISIL in Iraq, restore the Iraq-Syria border, and disrupt ISIL in Syria. ISIL will ultimately be defeated when their cloak of religious legitimacy is stripped away and the population on which they have imposed themselves reject them. Our actions are intended to move in that direction. This will require a sustained effort over an extended period of time. It's a generational problem, and we should expect that our enemies will adapt their tactics as we adjust our approach. As the situation in the Middle East evolves and continues to demand our attention, we're also balancing other challenges in other regions, Ebola being the most recent, along with reassuring our European allies against Russian aggression and continuing our mission in Afghanistan. But our young men and women in uniform are doing so much more. They conduct hundreds of exercises, activities, and engagements every day. Actions that deter conflict and reassure allies around the world. They are performing magnificently. But I am growing increasingly uncomfortable that the will to provide means does not match the will to pursue ends. The Secretary and I are doing what we can inside the Department to bridge that gap, but we'll need your help. If we do not depart from our present path, over time, I will have fewer military options to offer to the Secretary and to the President, and that's not a position in which I want to find myself. Thank you.